of all of the witnesses of Jesus on trial, I think that I'm safe in saying that Mary Magdalene provided the most ammunition for criticism and questioning. Had 7 spirits, evil spirits in her that were driven out, and gives the persecution a lot to work with. We begin.
All rise. Court is again in session. Will the Honorable Eric G. Mueller presiding? Now continues the trial of the people versus Jesus of Nazareth. You may be seated. Are all parties ready?
Prosecution is ready.
Defense is ready. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the trial of Jesus of Nazareth is about to begin. He is charged with being a fraud, a religious fraud, with claiming to be Lord and Savior. You are the jury. You are officers of the court, and as such, each of you has a vital part to play in this trial. No one here is a mere spectator. As members of the jury, your duty will be to pay close attention to everything that is said, weigh the evidence for and against Jesus of Nazareth, and pronounce the final verdict. You have an awesome responsibility. You will decide whether Jesus of Nazareth is guilty or not guilty, whether he is to live or die. Before we begin the trial, the jurors must be sworn. Please stand. Jury, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will well and truly try the case, the people versus Jesus of Nazareth, and a true verdict render according to the evidence and the law, so help you God? Answer, I do. Jury, you may be seated. Prosecutor, call your first witness.
Mary Magdalene, to the stand, please.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that your testimony tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do.
Please tell us your name.
My name is Mary Magdalene, because I come from Magdala, Galilee.
And am I right in saying that you are a zealous follower of the Rabbi Jesus?
Yes, I am. I love him very much.
You love him, you say? That's interesting. People respect their rabbis. They follow their teachings. But you say you love him? Tell us, Mary, why do you love him so much?
Well, first of all, because of what he did for me.
And what was that?
Well, he healed me. He gave me a new life.
A new life? Wow, that's quite a claim. Let's back up a bit. What was wrong with you? What was your ailment?
I was possessed by demons, and he drove them out of me. He freed me.
You were possessed by demons? What does that mean? Can you describe that for us?
Oh, being possessed by demons was a living hell, a prison of fear and torment. Oh, screaming inside, panic, haunting memories, overwhelming worries. My family, my friends, they tried to reach out to me, but one by one, I pushed them all away from me. I was lost in the torment. And finally, one by one, they all gave up and left me. That's what it was like.
Isn't that just another way of saying that you were a very, very unstable person? That you were neurotic? That you did not have control of yourself? Doesn't that describe your sickness?
Yes. I suppose some people would say it like that.
But you no longer consider yourself to be unstable or neurotic. Now I need to ask you, Mary, a woman with your kind of sickness often does not know that she is sick. How can she know that you have been healed? How can we know that you have been healed?
I know the truth, and I'm telling it now. I know that I was sick, and I know that now I am healed.
Right, sure, okay. Let's move on, Mary. As for this Jesus, your rabbi, when everyone else had abandoned you, he showed up and rescued you. Is that correct?
He healed me, yes.
He made you feel better, and you followed him.
Yes.
And you were not the only one, were you? As a matter of fact, many women followed him. A number of women were very fond of him. He must have been a very attractive man, Mary. Is that true?
Yes. I have never known anyone like him.
He sounds like the sort of man who would make a wonderful husband or whatever. Is that possible, Mary?
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that he rescued you and you fell for him. You were in love with the Rabbi Jesus. Well, weren't you?
I never said I was in love with him. I said I loved him.
Well, what does that mean? Didn't you follow him everywhere he went? Weren't you thrilled when you were with him?
Yes, I love him. Yes, he thrills me, but not the way you mean. It was a very special kind of love.
And what is your special way? Do you know what people are saying about you? Do you know what kind of reputation you have? Your name stands for prostitute. Did you know that?
Yes. No! I know what you're trying to do. You are trying to make me look bad. You are trying to destroy his reputation. Well, you can't.
Settle down, Mary. Settle down. Be careful now. We don't want to upset you. We know you're still a very emotional person, aren't you? Quite compassionate. Whether about this Rabbi Jesus or...
Objection, Your Honor. Sustained. The witness. Sustained.
Thank you, Mary. No further questions of this witness.
Your Honor, Counselor, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the jury, may it please the court. Mary, I think we can all see what the prosecutor has been trying to do here. Attack your reputation, destroy your credibility by innuendos.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Mary, let me start again. May I go back to talk about some of those areas that have been touched on, but for a very different purpose, believe me. May we proceed?
Go ahead.
First, Mary, as a matter of your illness, the demons, Mary, you were deeply troubled, weren't you?
Yes. It was like being in prison for years. It was living hell. My family, my friends, my health, I lost them all.
The prosecution, the attorney, tried to show that because of your illness, that makes your testimony somehow unreliable. Can you share with us, dare I say, prove to us, through your testimony, what Jesus did, that he truly healed you, that you are truly well?
Do I look to you like a woman in torment? Ask my friends. Ask my family. Anyone who knows me well. You didn't know me before. I am a living miracle. Sure, I get emotional. Not so much at what people say about me. I don't care anymore about that. But when people start attacking Jesus, when they twist the things that he did and said, that's when I get emotional. I get angry.
Well, you said, Mary, that you don't care anymore what people say about you. What about the rumors? Rumors that you were a prostitute. Innuendos about you and Jesus and that relationship.
What people say about my past life just doesn't make a bit of difference to me anymore. What matters is that I'm new. Jesus healed me. He saw my living hell and freed me. He gave me back my dignity as a woman. Of course I love him. Wouldn't you love someone who gave you your life back? I love him. It's that simple.
Well, Mary, can you explain to me, to us, the jury, what does it mean when you say that you love Jesus?
I'll try. At first, I was just thankful. I was thankful, and I was so relieved at being healed. And then as I followed him and I watched him with people, I was awed at his wisdom, at the way he listened to God, at the way he brought us together. And as time went on, I just got to know him. I discovered how deeply he loves me and he cares about me. It's just thankfulness and awe and joy all wrapped up together, and it keeps on growing. That's what I mean when I say I love him.
This love, dare I call it a special relationship that you have, that Jesus has with you.
Yes, it is a special thing. But it's special between me and between Jesus and every other person he ever met. I saw it, whether they met him on the road and spoke with him for just a few minutes, or whether they spent time with him like we did for years. Even the ones he argued with, even the ones who crucified him, he loved them. He knew each one of them, and he wanted to touch them and help them, especially those who don't understand. Those who accuse him falsely,
Objection, Your Honor.
he wanted them to understand. I
Sustained.
wish I could make him understand.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Thank you, Mary. I believe that is all I have.
Witness, you may step down. Prosecutor, do you have any closing remarks?
Your Honor, Counselor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, may it please the court. You have heard the testimony of Mary Magdalene, one of the most ardent followers of this Rabbi Jesus. You're going to have to sift through the emotional chaff of her testimony to get at the hard kernels of fact. Mary Magdalene claims to have been healed by the rabbi, but is that true? Can we believe the testimony of a woman who has obviously been so disturbed in the past and even now is so easily upset? She says she has been healed, but can we believe her or her testimony? But Mary is not the one on trial here. Jesus is, and there is a more important issue. Can we accept a rabbi who plays on the emotions of such a person? It happens all too often with people who are emotionally unstable, people who struggle for a sense of self-worth and purpose. These people are taken in by a powerful preacher and used by the teacher for his own purpose. The more emotional and erotic the people, the more they cling to him. No rabbi in history was ever better at that than this Jesus. Jesus is the answer for people who can't make it in the world. Anyone who is healthy, strong, well-adjusted doesn't need him. Jesus attracts the weak, the poor in spirit, the miserable side of humanity. Takes them in with this talk of love, these empty promises of healing, and a few flashy tricks, and uses them to spread his fame. And they fall for it. But you're not like Mary. You're not hounded by fears and memories. Don't be taken in by that misguided, manipulating Jesus. You don't need him. You, the jury, don't need him. You can stand on your own 2 feet, even if Mary, poor Mary, couldn't. Now, I want you to remember this one thing. Jesus is a manipulator and a fraud. I say find him guilty, be rid of him.
Defense, do you have any closing remarks?
Thank you, Your Honor. Counselor, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the jury. Prosecuting attorney, I pray will forgive me when I say that I believe he's wasted a bit of our time this evening. He's worked so hard to establish a fact that we don't doubt. Mary. She once was weak. She admitted it herself. She was a troubled woman. But the prosecution also implied that Mary was grossly immoral. I don't believe there was any evidence to substantiate those claims. But let's leave that in the record for the moment. I believe it helps our case. Somehow, however, the prosecutor has failed to see something very important here. Mary Magdalene of the past is a very different person than the one you heard on the stand just a few moments ago. In fact, I would say there are two Marys, the old Mary and the new Mary. The new Mary. What a difference between them, like night and day. And you know why that is? It's Jesus doing. All because of the healing, as Mary shared, that Jesus, the Savior, Jesus of Nazareth, gave to her a gift. Her own words, Jesus healed me. Jesus healed me. She would not even have had to say it, I don't believe. Just look at her. You can see it. It radiates about her, in her voice, in her eyes. New life and healing. She's a new person. And again, all Jesus doing. Jesus loved her and loves her in a special way because he knew all about her. The prosecution, again, would have us imagine that it was some sort of trick or a sordid relationship, or even, he said, a sick manipulation at worst. Not true. Jesus loved. Jesus is for the sick and the weak. I do agree with that from the prosecutor. Jesus said it himself. He proclaimed it amongst the people. We hear it in his word. Jesus brings healing. Who among us hasn't ever needed healing? Who among us hasn't needed a nurse or a doctor, a physician, medicine, healing, physically, emotionally, spiritually? Mary knew it. Let's be honest. We know it as well. We need only look in the mirror to see our own demons, the things that torment us, anxiety, selfishness, addictions, and so on. The things of this world that are against us, the evil that's out there, violence, war, greed, and the list goes on and on. Let's not waste time pointing only at Mary's demons. We look at our own. And the same Jesus who healed Mary is the same Jesus who brings healing to you and to me. So either we can, this night and throughout this trial, find Jesus guilty as a fraud, or we can receive that same gift of healing that he gave to Mary. Turn to him. Receive that gift of healing that only he can offer, a new life that he holds out to you and to me, just as Mary shared. So I ask you this night, will you dismiss him as a manipulator, a fraud, or will you receive the gift of healing? I say, be healed.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this trial is not yet concluded. You have heard the testimony of two witnesses. This court will reconvene next Wednesday at 7 p.m. to consider the testimony of James. During the intervening days, you are charged to carefully consider the testimony which you have heard. You should discuss it among yourselves and consider the veracity of this witness. Consider the arguments of counsel. Determine the truth or falsity of what they say. And lastly, consider the implications of what you have heard for yourself and for all mankind. Madam Bailiff, the court will be in recess.